All right, let's see if we're back here. I think we are. Hopefully YouTube doesn't. Yeah, okay, we're back. Hopefully YouTube doesn't shut me down again. I guess they didn't like the vampire stream. Yeah, that was weird. What had happened, I guess, is for some reason, I think because I'm showing Scars of the Vampire, vintage Hammer horror film behind me here, and for some reason that set off some kind of spam notification for YouTube, and they took me down. That's the first time that's ever happened. So please, YouTube, leave this one up. I'm not breaking any rules, I don't think. Just have it in the background there. Oh, shoot, I just got a nosebleed. Oh, that's crazy. Hold on, I'll be right back. Wow, what is going on today? That is crazy. Hopefully that's nothing serious. I feel fine, but I mean, my nose was rather dry, and I was blowing it before coming on here. So that's probably what happened. Wow, pretty weird. Let me get a drink of water. Let's see if that stops. Hey, Bertoon and Thomas. Yeah, crazy stuff going on here. I don't know what's happening. Hold on, let me have a drink of water here. Ah. All right, that was weird. Let's just wait a few minutes before I actually start playing in case something is really wrong. Yeah, I mean, I totally feel fine. I just, like I said, I was blowing my nose. The heat is on. It's really cold outside, and the heat's on, and it's really dry in my apartment. So that's probably what happened. I hope. I mean, I feel totally fine. So I guess it's appropriate, to have blood, since it is the vampire stream. But that's really weird. Never happened before. First, if you're just tuning in, first, YouTube took my stream off the air because I guess I had like what it was. I don't want to switch to it, but I had the pre-stream screen up there, and I had the audio from the Hammer horror film and the actual film playing in the background, and I think that set off some kind of like copyright infringement thing, and so they took it down. Let me just run. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick and make sure this is good. Okay, I'll be right back. Don't worry, anybody. I'm fine here. I think it stopped, but I just want to double check. I'll be right back. Alrighty. So, does anybody know how long you're supposed to wait? Before or after you have a nosebleed, before you're supposed to stop pinching it like this? Because I actually don't know. I haven't had a nosebleed in many years. But yeah, Feeling fine. Just got a nosebleed. I have some new songs set up for you guys. Well, actually, one new song. And, you know, some of the other ones are pretty new. I've played them in the last, like, couple of streams. I think it stopped. Seems to be okay now. Let me know if blood starts to run out of my nose again. All right, so let me mute my watch, because usually when that thing buzzes while I'm playing, it distracts the hell out of me, and I always screw up. So, what's up, everybody? Seems like we got that out of the way now. Everything's still up and streaming here. Yeah, it looks like I'm still on YouTube. Let me check the other ones. Seems to be good. Okay, so done with that. Maybe I should try to play a song and see if I can make it through it without bleeding. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I'm just going to play my new one here. And maybe some of you guys heard this one already. I have a video out for it on YouTube here. It's called I Wonder Diana, and it's very new. So here we go. Hope you like it. Ah, this stupid thing. I forgot about this mic. Okay, here we go. couple other problems here while I was playing. No more nosebleeds, thankfully, but I forgot to turn on. Let's see. Well, first off, I don't know what happened here, but somehow my border got completely out of alignment there. Let me just fix that. I'm going to fix it. Elements. How do I fix this thing? It's weird. I don't understand how that happened. Overlay. There we go. I must have accidentally clicked on it. Of course it switched the camera when I was about to do that. Go back to that. Now it's in the wrong spot completely there. Okay, there we go. Overhead, I forgot to turn it on altogether. So let's turn that on. And then... All right. And also, why was it... Oh, okay, so this one, I see. Sorry, I should have worked... To be honest, I didn't have a whole lot of time to fine-tune the vampire stream here, which is why I didn't even title it the vampire stream when I was first doing it, because I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to do anything. But I kind of did it there at the last minute, so I was able to throw something together. But as you can see, it's still not without issue. So anyway, I still do have this, which is kind of not really fitting. How did that thing move again? What the hell? All right, let's turn that off. Okay, no, actually, that's kind of appropriate. Let's leave that on there. What is going on here? Okay, how did this border, how does it keep moving? Okay, you should be there. Okay, let's check the other ones. That one, now that one's off. Okay, so something really weird is going on here. That shouldn't be affecting both scenes, but it is for some reason. So I'm just going to turn it off on this one. And it's like we're having total Twilight Zone stuff here today. So I'm just going to turn that off here, so that way it doesn't mess with the other one. And let's take a look at the other one. Now it's off there, too. Whatever. Screw it. Okay, I'm just not going to use it at all. Oh, man. Anyway. And now that guy's out of sync, too. He should be up a little further. It's like the whole thing moved. Oh, my God. This was all working perfectly before I started. Where's the head? Okay. Click that. It's not letting me select it. Oh, geez. There we go. Okay. What else? There's my main camera. At least that one's working. Let's see if this works. Andrew Conkey, what's going on, Justin? Having a good Tuesday? Yeah, I mean, despite all of this craziness that keeps happening on this stream, pretty good. Maybe, I don't know what's going on, but it's like this has been very weird. First, YouTube just kicked me off the air for no apparent reason. Well, I think I had an idea as to why they did it, and I think it had something to do with the background. And then I got a nosebleed right when I was first starting. And then all this weird stuff with the backgrounds and the the OBS going on here. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and play another song because like that seemed to go okay. And thanks for the comment there, Crunk Monkey and Thomas. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks again for coming on. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on here. Okay, what's next? How about for the next song, I'm going to play. Let's play one that I didn't do last week. All right, let's try Non-Modal. Let's do that. Here we go. This is called Non-Modal. It's off the Pan Demos. Oh, at some point, I'll get used to this mic. Did I have this mic on the whole time? Could you guys hear me hitting the drums? Anyway, that was Non-Madal off of the Pan Demos. And let me just pinch my nose again here. It feels a little strange. Like, I don't think it's bleeding again, but maybe it's getting close. Anyway, yeah, that was good. There's still weird stuff happening. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this film is cursed. But according to my Restream chat, I have 0 viewers. But I'm getting chats from you guys, so that's obviously not correct. And Thomas Cahill says, "You're such a badass drummer, dude." Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. That was, yeah, that one's a fun one to play. Nice rocker. James says, "Not sure why, but that sounded like a mix between Black Sabbath and the Pixies." That could, yeah, that could make sense. Bertoon says 12 on YouTube. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I don't know what's going on with my system here. It's all a big mess. I'm going to have to fix all this before next week. Next week, it's possible that I might go dark for the week because I really need to work on my taxes, and I've been putting that off. And I don't want to put it off to the last minute like I normally do because that just never really works so well if you wait until the last minute, especially if you're like me. Like, my taxes are not easy to do because, like, I have like a million different 1099s and, like, you know, other sources of income and, you know, all this crap and PayPal accounts and Cash App and, like, you know, from lessons and YouTube and Amazon and all these different sources of income that I do for my job. It's just very difficult. Well, I have to stop saying it's difficult because I just want to learn how to do it myself. Like, you know, the IRS gives you all the tools. I'm not talking about vampires at all. I should be. But IRS gives you all the tools, like, to do everything yourself. You really don't need, like, all these apps or programs and all this crap to do it for you. They always say free, and they're always not free. Like, every single one of them. Like, TurboTax is the absolute worst. I freaking hate those guys because if anybody that's ever done their taxes in TurboTax knows that if you do your taxes there, then you have to get that tax return back, like, for the next year for something that you need it for, like whatever, like an apartment, you know, application or something. They hold that thing hostage. Like, they will not give it to you until you log back in and pay for TurboTax again, which is, like, so screwed up. Oh, wow, that's got some gore going on behind me back there. I did not watch this movie. I've heard of it, but I did not actually watch it before I put it on the background, which may have been a mistake. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take me down again. It's an old movie, you know. It's like from 1970. So I was like, so how bad can it be, you know? Older movies are usually not that terrible. I mean, things that were considered like rated R back then, like, they show on like regular TV these days. So I think we should be fine. Anywho, what is you guys' favorite vampire movie? I'll tell you mine. And actually, some people, well, I have a couple favorites, but my favorite franchise by far is the Underworld franchise. Like, I know a lot of people don't like those movies for whatever reason, but I think they're amazing, especially the first 3. The first 2 especially are really good. But I like all of them, but even, like, you know, the first 3 and even the 4th one, I think there's a 4th one. The one that wasn't as good as the others, I still even kind of like that one. It definitely had a different look and feel, but I liked it. And then also one of my other favorites is Fright Night. And I thought about putting that in the background, which may have been a safer choice than this one. But Fright Night is a really good one. If you haven't seen Fright Night, it's from the 80s, and it's about this kid who basically a vampire moves in next door to him. And there's this TV vampire, like, you know, it's basically, there's a guy kind of like Van Helsing in the Hammer horror films called Frank Vincent or Peter Vincent, that's it, in Fright Night, and he's like this TV vampire killer guy, but he's not real, he's bullshit. But the kid who the vampire moves in next door to tracks him down to try to get him to help kill vampires, but he doesn't even really believe in vampires. But anyway, it's a great movie. It's such a classic horror movie, and I remember I saw it in the theater when I was a kid, and I just really loved it. Like, it was such a good movie, and even to this day, I still really like that movie. It's so good. Not seeing any chats. Is this thing working? Sorry. It looks like it's working. I mean, I'm still on YouTube. That's not taken down yet. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and play another song. Lost Boys, yes. Lost Boys is another great one. I just rewatched that the other day. Like, well, it was probably about a week ago now. I hadn't seen it in a long time. And that saxophone guy, the muscle saxophone guy, he's so funny. Like on the boardwalk playing. And yeah, classic. That's another classic. Same era as Fright Night. I will, though, I gotta say, I kind of like Fright Night a little bit better than Lost Boys. Even though Lost Boys is way more famous, I think. But Fright Night is the best for me. Vampire movies, what else? There's one, what was the one with Bill Paxton? And, like, that one was crazy. That was really good. Was it just called Vampires? I think it was just called Vampires. It was John Carpenter. I think that was it. Bob Almighty says, hello, Mr. Sweaters. I'm old, going back to drumming. I have an Alesis Nitro, but I want a cheap acoustic kit. Any suggestions? There's a lot of great acoustic kits out there. You know, you really can't go wrong with, like, the bigger brands like Tama Imperial, or the Tama Club-Jam is a great choice. Very inexpensive, very nice, and kind of compact too, like the regular Club-Jam. There's also any of the entry-level Pearls, you know, like the what is theirs? The Roadshow Pearls, the entry-level Ludwigs, and the entry-level Tamas are all great choices. Like, none of them are bad. So I think the Ludwigs, the good thing about those is they come with, like, I think it's the Ludwigs, I could be wrong, but I think the Ludwigs come with like more above average stock heads on them. Like, I think they have like a pinstripe type head that comes on them. Gretsch Catalina, yeah, that's another good one. I had one of those in the past. Good kit. I think I told my story about how I ended up losing that thing. I'll tell it again when I get back from playing this song. Whatever this song's going to be. What should it be? How about, it's not really a vampire, but it's a werewolf. We have Mercury Werewolf. I could play that one. So let's do that. Let me switch to the right set here. And here we go. This is called Mercury Werewolf. And this one's off of Turn of the Scrocked. This mic. I'm going to have to switch back to the old mic. This one's too hard to switch on and off. Oh, come on here. that was Mercury Werewolf off of Turn of the Scrocked album. Came out a few years ago, I think 2018. So when that came out, or 2019 possibly. And let's see what you guys are talking about here. The Tama Imperial Star 6-piece. Yeah, I see what you're saying there about the minal cymbals. I think somebody will sell that kit without the minals, or like with no cymbals at all. And again, yeah, I wouldn't be interested in those either. Which, you could look at like the, either the club jams, or you could go up actually, like I think the Superstar Classic, which is just a kit pack, a drum kit package that doesn't have any cymbals, and they're actually quite a bit nicer too. Like I think they're maple shells. And I think they're like around $600 or $700 or $800, maybe somewhere around there. Wood preference, it's kind of like, no, not really. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. Just watch, Sweetwater, Nick DiVirgilio, the famous Nick DiVirgilio, just uploaded a video recently asking, does shell type really matter? And they mic'd up all these different snare drums and played them. And yeah, there's slight differences between them, but man, it's like so minuscule. It's very, very, like, not that much. I mean, the heads make a bigger difference and the hoops make a bigger difference. For me, I personally cannot stand die-cast hoops on a snare drum. I know some people really like them, but to me, they just make it sound way too harsh. Like when you hit the rim shot, like it's way too. And because also the way I hit, like I hit pretty hard. So like when I do the the rim shot on a die-cast hoop, I can't stand the way it sounds. They just sound way too pingy and like cracky. But triple flange hoops, these drums are, I mean, right now they're just electric. But when I played them acoustically, this was the first generation of the club jams, and these are different shells than the ones they sell now. These ones are poplar and Merswa wood. Now the ones they sell are all all poplar rather. Again, I don't know if there's really a difference, but I know it's a different wood. So all the new club jams are all poplar. And then I had a couple of poplar kits. My Pearl kit is a mahogany one. It's a very old Pearl, 69. And that's in storage. And but that one I really like the way it sounds. And that one does have a warmer sound than most drums, but I think it has more to do with the age and how it was, the edges are cut on it, because like it seems to me that like almost all vintage drums just have a mellower tone, because I think the edges aren't as sharp on them, like a lot of them. They just didn't cut them like at an exact 45-degree how they do now. And mahogany is a little bit drier and warmer, supposedly, than other ones. But I mean, look at John Bonham. He played a plastic drum set, like a Vistalite, and it still sounded great. So let's see some other comments here. Bob Almighty says, scary good. Thank you, Bob. Now, let's give you some love for that one. Thanks a lot. I really do appreciate that. And the clapping from Ved Galat. And what else? Sorry, I'm not trying to skip over you guys' comments. Bob says, I saw Nick's snare drum thing. That was good. Very small difference. Yeah, it's very small. Bob Almighty, how are the snare drums in those sets? I think most of the shell packs you buy these days, they come with wood snares, it seems like, which is odd. Like in the past, they all came with metal snares. Now, wood and metal snares, I could tell a big difference between those. It doesn't really matter what the wood or what the metal, but I can always tell a big difference. And actually, I really like metal snares. And I regret selling one of my favorite sounding snare drums was just this old Pearl Export 6.5 by 14-inch metal snare drum. And I loved the sound of that thing. It sounded so good. But I got rid of it for some reason. Like, I gave it to somebody. I'm like, why did I do that? I do that a lot. I give things away, and then I'm like, why did I give that? Like, I feel generous, and then I wish I'd never done it, but I never asked for it back. But still. Ved says, if you were a lefty drummer, what approach did you have chosen to play the kit? Open-handed on a righty kit or cross-handed on a lefty kit? I don't know. I mean, when I teach, for sake of simplicity, you know, if I have left-handed students, I tend to show them open-handed, because then I don't have to switch the whole drum kit around for one student. It's kind of a selfish reason, but when you have like a back-to-back students coming in, it kind of sucks to have to move a whole drum set around. So a lot of times, yeah, if they're left-handed, you know, then, but it's rare. At one point I had several left-handed students, but now I have 0. Another thing you can do too is just, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. I mean, if you want to play it totally left-handed, go for it. If you want to play open-handed, go for it. Whatever you learn is what you're going to be able to do. I mean, Ringo's left-handed, and he sets up and plays completely right-handed, except for when he does fills, he starts with his left hand, and so that's why his fills are kind of odd sometimes, but they sound cool. But that's part of his sound, is the fact that he, you know, plays. He's a left-handed person and plays totally set up right-handed on the drums. So, Goliath 217, just realized I don't know your name. It is McCracken, the great cock toastin'. All right, let me go ahead and play another song here. Greetings from Germany, says Sol Esperanza. Hello. Hello there. Some love to Germany. And look, even my hearts have scooted down. Like they're not even on center with everything anymore. What the hell happened to all my stuff? So weird. Anyway, they still look okay, I guess. All right, let's do something. What am I playing? Geez, I've barely played any songs. How about Insect Politics? I didn't do that in the past couple of weeks. That one's fun. Where's my kit for that? Insect Politics. Where are you? I must have gone right past it. I think it's just called Insect. I have a... Where is it? I am not doing good. Why don't I see it? Okay, there's wide. Oh, that's right. I call it Damon. That's right. I originally created this kit as like a Damon Che type drum sound. Having the second snare over here. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. This is called Insect Politics. Here we go. All right, that was Insect Politics. Sorry, a couple of pretty bad fills in there where I kind of lost it a bit. But those things happen every now and then. I need a drink of water. Oh, I have coffee here. I totally forgot. And I'm hot. I tried to dress goth-ish, at least with it black. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for this one. But anyway, this was like the gothiest looking shirt that I had. And I love the band VRSX, if you've never heard them. They're a great band. But it's long sleeve, and I'm wearing long pants, too. Usually I drum in shorts and a short sleeve, so I'm like way hotter than I normally am. Anyway, let's see. Any comments here that I missed? Manny the drummer says, hey, nice drum set and sound. Thanks, Manny. Thank you. Give you some love for that one. Let's do the X-Files theme, too. There you go. Bed says, I used to play as left-handed. I'm from India, but as you have said, if you change the kit to lefty, but no one allows you in a gig to do so. Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, I think they don't allow you. I think here they would allow you. They wouldn't like it too much, but if you're left-handed, you're left-handed, so they'd be like, all right. Bob Almighty... Oh, Soul Esperanza says, do you play for us? Yes, I do. I think you just figured that out. Manny the drummer, I already read that one. Bob Almighty, that's why I learned right-handed when you're first starting. Don't think it makes a difference. Everything is hard. That's true. You know, I get questions. Some of the questions I get, like, you know, and I don't know. There's some questions, like comments that I get in videos that I don't respond to because I don't necessarily know how to respond without sounding like an ass, basically. Like there's one on my last stream edit. Somebody asked, they're like, hey, I got an Alesis Nitro mesh, but I keep hitting the rims of the drums. How do I stop doing that? I mean, I just wanted to say, don't hit them. Like that's how. You just don't do it. Like, but it takes practice. If you keep hitting them, then you just need to practice more and try not to hit them. You know, like it's not like there's any secret to it. You just don't do it. So that's why I didn't respond to that. If whoever posted that comment happens to be watching this, I didn't want to sound like a jerk because if people can't hear tone in in videos or in comments, so that's why I just didn't respond. And there's a bunch that I get like that. Like people ask questions a lot that I just really just can't answer. They're like, how do I get better at this? I'm like, I mean, the answer is just practice. Yeah. I mean, practice makes perfect, says Bertune. And that's correct. I mean, that's all it is. It's not like a secret. You just do something over and over again. In the beginning, it's hard, and then it becomes easy. It's not rocket science. Well, even rocket science, if you start it out at the beginning and you just, in the beginning it's going to seem confusing and crazy, and you just keep doing it, then it'll get easy. I'm sure. Like, I'm sure you have the science down to a science, and then it's very easy. Other vampire movies of note, anybody have any suggestions out there? Maybe some I haven't seen. I know there's the Twilight Saga. I've seen a couple of those, and I don't hate them, actually. They're a little boring, but I don't think they're terrible movies, at least the ones I've seen. I'm not crazy about that guy as the choice for the new Batman, quite honestly. I don't think he's a good choice. I mean, I don't think he's a bad actor. There's some vampire killing going on back there behind me. Geez, this one's pretty bloody. Oh, and we are seeing some boobies. Oops. This video is going to get taken down. Anyway, what was I saying? Something. Something about something. About practicing. I don't know. Somebody remind me. I totally... The stuff happening behind me completely made me lose my train of thought. I'm like, should I take this down? Should I turn this off? But I'm going to leave it up there. We'll see. I mean, so far, I'm still on YouTube. Bob Almighty says, I've been playing drums on and off since childhood and am just now going back to rudiments. Muy importante. Yes, very much. Oh, yeah, other vampire movies. Twilight, that's right. I was talking about that. What are some other ones? I'm going totally blank right now. Once Bitten, that's one. Another 80s one with Jim Carrey. That was one of Jim Carrey's first movies. And it's not great. It's okay. I mean, it's got some like 80s nostalgia-ness to it that make it somewhat watchable. But as a movie, it's just not very good. And he's not very funny in it either. I don't think he's the lead character. Or maybe he is. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it. It's okay. It's not, yeah, like I said, it's not like the greatest one ever. Salem's Lot. Now, that's something I need to watch again. I haven't seen that in so long. It was a mini-series. And I saw it when I was a kid. And I remember thinking, wow, this is very long when I was young. But I'm going to watch it again. My friend Chad just rewatched it, one of my best friends, and he was telling me, like, the editing is so bad in it that, like, it's really hard to make sense out of, which wouldn't surprise me because, like, there's some of those mini-series that Stephen King was involved with back in the day are just atrocious. Like, what's the one? The Stand. Like, and I remember when The Stand was on, that everybody really liked it, and I tried to rewatch it not that long ago, and I was like, man, this is the biggest piece of crap I have ever seen. Like, it is so bad. Like, every act, like, all the acting in it is terrible. The story is boring. Like, it's, like, really, really boring and just awful. And, like, I just did not like the Stand miniseries. I did, however, like, is it called Tommy Knockers? Is that the one where, like, the little things are eating reality? Like, the little... And by all accounts, it's a terrible, terrible movie. And I think that was a miniseries too, but they combined it into a movie. But it's a good, terrible movie. Like, because it's so bad that it's great. Like, it's the effects in it are just so bad, and like everything about it. And I really, really, is it called Tommy Knockers? No, I don't know. Somebody help me out here. I'm struggling with this memory thing. Hey man, I'm in my 40s. Anyway. Blade, yes, Blade is another one that I saw so long ago that I totally forget, like, everything about it. It just dawned on me, too, that the Matrix, they look like vampires, but they're not vampires. But they totally dress like vampires. They have the sunglasses, and, they're all in black and everything. Vampire lore is interesting. Like, all the rules, you can't go out in the day. Sunlight is their ultimate killer. Garlic... what else? Stake through the heart, crosses, holy water, all that stuff. All that good stuff. All right, should I play another song? Bram Stoker's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes, that is an awesome movie. People have mixed feelings on that one too, but I think that is one of the best vampire movies ever made. Francis Ford Coppola directed. Gary Oldman as Dracula. Man, that's a good movie. Really good. Hey, Cool Dude Banana, how's it going, man? Bertoon, garlic is the weird thing. I'd hate to be a vampire. I love garlic. Yeah, like, why garlic? What is it about garlic? I mean, garlic, maybe because garlic is like a good antibiotic and actually can keep you from getting sick. Maybe that's why. Bob Almighty says there's a Korean one called Thirst. Very good. Oh, I haven't seen that. I'll check that out. Green Book, I haven't seen that either. So there's a lot of them here. Hey, Donnie, how's it going? There's some love for you guys. Some hearts. And also a little alien. Or, no, that's not an alien. What am I talking about? I still have labeled alien on my Stream Deck. That's why. But it's like, anyway. Let's play another song. I'm not doing so great here with all this. Oh, how about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? The first season, the first comic, the first books. Hellsing anime, yeah, I haven't seen that one. But JoJo is like, I mean, is it a vampire? I guess it is. It's like, it's really weird. It's like, it's not exactly like a traditional vampire. It's like a vampire that is from the ancient Aztecs that comes out of a mask, turns people into this vampire-like thing. That was really good. I really, really liked the JoJo stuff. with I have a mask like that. It's can I show you? You've probably seen it. I don't want to move my, well, here, let's just do it anyways. Move my camera. Show you guys. See it over there on the wall? Ah, it just switched. But yeah, I have an old Aztec mask, and I've always been afraid to put it on for fear that I might turn into some kind of creature of the night. No, but actually I couldn't even wear it. It's like really thick. It's not really made to wear. It's a decoration. I found that in Florida in this antique shop, and they had it hanging up, and like it wasn't even like hanging up for sale. It was just on the wall, and I was like, "Hey, you guys want to sell that thing?" And it's really weird, and but I just really liked it. So, I mean, part of it reminded me of that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted it. Let's see. Okay, so what kind of song should I play here? What's vampire-ish sounding? There's Ice Cream Pirate. The pirates, vampires, I don't know. They're both menacing things. What else do I have here? Escort, no. Form, Triumph, Cherry Red Lips. Should I attempt that one? Yeah, let's do that one. I feel like playing that. Cherry Red Lips. Here we go. Wait, I need to figure out which drum set I'm going to use in this. I never know what to use in this one. Probably a safe bet. Go with that one. All right, here we go. I mentioned Twilight, Thomas, earlier. Cherry red lips. That's a song by me. Let's see. A couple mentions here in the comments. Continuum says, I saw an interview with Vampire. I really like the story. Or I like the story. I haven't actually seen that one. I know that's another old, famous-ish one. Tom Cruise. Is Nicole Kidman in that too? Was that how they met? Am I just making that up? Donnie says, Queen of the Dam, another great movie. I never saw that. Man, there's a bunch I've never seen. Honestly, I don't watch a lot of vampire movies, apparently. Like, only the 80s ones. Like, old 80s ones in Underworld. Yeah, so I'll have to check all those out. I got a bunch of new recommendations. Watched a pretty good movie last night, that movie Kimmy on HBO Max with Zoe Kravitz in it. Pretty good. That was Zoe Kravitz looks so much like her parents. If you don't know, she's the daughter of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet, and she just looks like a cross between both of them, like totally. And she was good in it, actually. Her performance was very good. I really liked her. The movie itself was like, it was pretty good. It got better towards the end. The beginning was a bit slow, I thought. And it had a couple of those like what? Like kind of moments in it, you know, where like you don't really buy like what's happening. Like well, I don't want to do any spoilers. It's worth watching though, for sure. I would give it like, 4 out of 5 probably stars. Thomas says, yes, Queen of the Dam was cool. Stuart Townsend. I don't know. X-Files, did X-Files have a vampire episode? I'm pretty sure they did. I should know that. I've watched the series, like the entire series, probably like 5 times. Although sometimes I'll watch them, like X-Files a lot of times, especially now since I've seen them so many times, is like my background show. Like, you ever do that where you'll just like, you'll be working on a lot of stuff, and but you just have something on in the background, like just to listen to, and like, just to fill up the dead space, basically. I was doing that this morning with this like 6-hour-long David Icke presentation, which probably isn't the sanest thing to be watching. But I find, especially the older David Icke stuff, the newer ones, not as much, but the older ones, I mean, the dude, if you don't know who David Icke is, he's like probably the biggest conspiracy theorist to ever live. Like, I mean, some people think that's Alex Jones, but David Icke kind of takes the cake, in my opinion. But he, he presents no evidence, of course, never. However, there is some pretty convincing coincidences in some of those, older things that he talks about. I think now he's kind of like, when I hear him now, like in recent years, he sounds like he's, well, first off, he's older, so I don't think he's quite as sharp as he was, like back in like the early 2000s or late 90s when he would do those kind of talks. And now it's like, I don't know. I mean, he's still entertaining. I find him entertaining. I mean, I'm not saying I believe any of it. However, like, there's some parts, there's some weird, undeniably weird stuff, weird coincidences, of course with 9/11 and like Rumsfeld and like all this stuff that happened around that time when like all that, the black budget they announced like the day before 9/11 happened with the like trillions of dollars that suddenly went missing, and then the next day 9/11 happens and suddenly everybody forgets about that. Like, I don't know, there's just a lot of weird coincidences for sure, but that's always the case, it seems like with everything that ever happens, like any world event, there's always some like weird coincidence that makes people become suspicious about things. Yeah. It just seems to be, there's a ton of them with COVID too. I don't really want to get into that. But, there are. And like, there's weird coincidences, for sure. Well, I'll just mention one. Like the guy who created the test, the PCR test, I don't want to get into too much details, but his not so kind words about Anthony Fauci before the pandemic really even happened. Like, I think it was like a couple years ago, and the fact that he died right before the pandemic really, like the guy that invented, excuse me, that invented that test. Now, I'm not making any kind of connection here, but that's an example of one of those weird things that there always seems like that there's some weird coincidence like that on any major world events that makes people go, man, what the hell? Like, there's, so you kind of understand why people get wrapped up in that stuff, or at least I do. I try not to myself. I mean, I don't buy into a lot of the conspiracy theories regarding the virus. Well, again, it's like hard to say what's an actual conspiracy theory and what's not, because the official stories change so much. That actually makes it difficult too. But I do wear masks when I'm out, and I've been vaccinated, got all the vaccines and all that stuff, and I did get sick about them. Or I did get sick from them, but they seem to have worked for me because I'm, I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm around kids all the time, teaching and, so they seem to have been effective. So I'm glad that I got them. I did just have a great aunt pass away from COVID just recently, and not to be a bummer here, but this is a sobering moment for me, and it could be for you too. That she never got the vaccine, and she didn't quite believe. And I hate saying this about her. I loved her, man. She was such a cool person. She was my last of my grandmother, like my Italian grandmother. She was the last remaining, sibling alive. But she passed away. Yeah, she did. She never got the vaccine. She was never wearing masks. And then right after Christmas, she got COVID really bad and went to the hospital and never made it out. So yeah, and she was in good shape. I mean, yeah, she was old, but she was in very good shape. She was always skinny, never overweight. Always, her mind was always very strong, and she was always just, I don't know. Yes, age, she was old, but there's a lot of old people out there, and she was fine before she got it. So anyway, I'm not going to go, I don't like to try to convince people one way or another of something. And I do believe that everybody has an individual, freedom, of what they want to do with their bodies, but the science is there, like that it does. And yes, I know there's been some inconsistencies of what they said. However, it does seem to be, if you look at the actual numbers, and you can go online and actually look at the real numbers in multiple sources, not just like the CDC, like there's a lot of places, that, it does seem to help. People seem to get less sick even if they catch it, and they seem to recover faster. So, I don't know. Let's see. Nate Pick says, I've gotten COVID twice and have not been vaxxed. I haven't gotten it because I haven't gotten the vaccine because I've had heart problems in the past, and 9 of my friends who are vaxxed now having multiple issues with their heart. Wow, that's crazy. No, I haven't known anybody that's had it. I mean, aside from being sick for, like the day after getting it, which it hit me pretty darn hard, especially the second and third one. But no other issues, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, I can understand that if you have a health concern. Yeah. So, however, yeah, it's one of those things. It's a complicated situation. I'm not pretending like it's not. All right, let's go ahead and play another song. Let's lighten up the mood a little bit here. But yeah, I'll dedicate this one to my great Aunt Margaret, who, yeah, she was a cool lady, very cool. Always funny too. Like that whole side of my family is they're funny. Like they're the Italian side, and they're pretty lively. I'm sure most of you guys have seen this Italian stereotypes. They're not exactly like that, but yeah, they have a little bit of that too. A little bit of the tell you exactly what they're thinking kind of attitude a lot, which was great. I always loved that about my grandmother too. Like she was very blunt, and my mom is like that as well, and I love it. It's a something about them I would never change. Like they are so awesome because of that. All right, so what can we play here? Oh, let's do Digital Demons. That's a fun one to play, and it's one of the newer ones. Let me pick my right drum set for it. Man, that was a long rant before actually playing again. Jesus, how long have I been going talking? If you're just tuning in here, you missed an interesting start. First, YouTube pulled the stream because of my background, and then, well, it was actually the intro background, I guess, because I had the sound and they thought it was spam or misleading. That was the reason they gave me. But they pulled me down, and then right after I got it back on, I got a nosebleed on there, on the stream, which has never happened. But I feel fine, so I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's just the heat is cranked up. It's like 18 degrees outside, and we have, the heat in New York City is like makes everything insanely dry. And so I just got a nosebleed as soon as I came online. Ved says in India, people got panicked, but fortunately, a very good vaccination campaign is going on. That's good. Yeah, I mean, I live in New York City. And it's no joke, people that, when it first started, people were terrified in the city, and rightfully so, because here there are a lot of freaking people. You can't go outside with people being all up in your shit all the time. And so, you got to do what you can to protect yourself here. I mean, I would get sick more in New York City even before COVID even happened than anywhere else I ever lived, just because you're so close to so many people all the time. And everybody's, traveling on the subway. And although I think things have gotten better now since then. Okay, let's go ahead and play a song. I'm talking. I'm going to do Digital Demons. Here we go. Actually, that's not a good one to do for Aunt Margaret. You're right there. How about Thomas? I can do Ether. That's a good one. That's better. For Aunt Margaret, where is it? Let me find it here. Somewhere in here. There's like 70 songs in this project now, so it's really hard to find some of them sometimes. It's in here somewhere. I have to scroll through slowly. There it is. Okay, let's go ahead and play Ether. that was Ether off of Can You Draw Me LP. And thanks for requesting that. Goes out to Aunt Margaret, who's up there in the ether, in the other dimension. All right, so thanks, Bertoon. Dang the song jams and the double bass. Thanks, man. That one is like, the double bass and that one's a little tricky in a way because it's not super fast, but it's like too fast to play with one foot. But it's like, I mean, I could play it with one foot probably, but it wouldn't be comfortable. Like, yeah, like, but with 2 feet, you know, it's hard to make it sound clean. Is the hardest thing about it because it's not super fast. That actually makes it a little bit harder than if you're doing like, which would actually seem to be a little easier for me, at least. Let's see. Sorry, I just burped. Nate Pick says, got a question. Have you tried Pintec triggers with the trigger trap? Yes, and I think they kind of suck. I'm not crazy about them. Nope. I just get a red shot. Red shots are about the same price and much better, in my opinion. I mean, Pintec, on one hand, I like some of their stuff. Like, I have a Pintec trigger over here. On the other hand, a lot of it's just crap. Like, they make some pretty bad products, actually. Very poor quality. Oh, it looks like my... What the hell happened there? Oh, wait, never mind. Hold on, I have to go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Drank a bunch of water before starting this, trying to rehydrate myself. I'll be right back. Okay, so back on what I was saying about Pintec. Yeah, I mean, they make a couple of things that I really like. One being this, what do they call this stuff? The silent trim, which is what I have. Let me switch my overhead. That's what I have on my hoops. It's Pintec silent trim, which is this rubber that you can buy from them. And that works really good. Another thing that I really like are their PC and TC single zone crashes and splashes. But everything else they make just kind of sucks, honestly. Their triggers are not so great. I made a couple of videos on it. I need to edit those, actually. I need to redo that because sometimes, see, the problem is when you make a video, sometimes your first impression of something is better than it ends up being, like after you use it for a while. So I have to revisit that RS5 videos that I made. Maybe I'll just take them down. Because the same thing happened to me with their Visualite dual zone cymbals. When I first received them, I thought they were good, and I did a pretty positive review of them. However, after playing them for a little while, they just turned into the biggest chunks of crap I've ever used in my entire life. Like, when you would choke them, they wouldn't unchoke. Like, and there was no way to stop them from doing that. Like, I tried so many different things. And I even talked to the guy, like the owner of Pintec, and he insisted that they were fine, but he reluctantly sent me another pair, like of the same exact cymbals. Got those, and they were just as bad. Same exact thing. You'd choke them, and they wouldn't come back. And like you'd have to peel off the thing, like the rubber pad on them, and like readjust the sensor under them. And like they were just terrible. Like they were easily the worst electronic cymbals I've ever tried. And the worst thing about it is the guy wouldn't it was like he didn't believe me. Like it was like, and like I was, I was nice actually. I could have put all that in the video, and like, but I didn't want to, it was a small business. And I didn't really want to hurt, the business, so I just took my original videos down. Um, but yeah, they were just hot garbage, totally terrible. I wrote a pretty bad review on Amazon about them though. Goliath says 30 Days of Night, pretty bad but entertaining. I haven't heard of that one either, but I'll check it out. Snooze, have you tried the Tama Neo Mod? No, I came really close to buying one of those at one point, but I was like, man, I got to control myself. I'm struggling right now to control myself on not buying the Club-Jam Pancake, because that thing, man, the entire kit fits in a single bag. Like, that is so amazing. Like, this one fits in 2 bags. I have 2 Club Jams. I have the Mini, and then I have the Flyer. The Flyer is tiny, but it's still, you need 2 bags, not including cymbal or hardware. But the Pancake, it's like thinner, because all the shells are very thin, and then the toms are single-headed, but the kick and the snare are still double-headed, so they sound, and it actually sounds, I think, better than the Flyer. Like, it sounds more like a real drum set. And you can fit the whole thing in a bag. So, like, having just 1 bag of drums, 1 bag of hardware, then a cymbal backpack, I could literally walk around carrying an entire drum set, like, without a cart. Like, when I move my Flyer around, I need to use the cart. And somebody stole that cart, actually. I have to buy a new one. But, yeah, so I've been really tempted to buy one of those Pancakes. But, man, I have 6 drum sets right now, which is crazy. Like, there's barely any reason why anybody should have 6 drum sets, but let alone living in New York City. Because New York City, everything's really difficult to deal with. But thankfully, they're not all here. I have 1 here. I have 2 in storage, and then 3 at my school. So, they're all most of them are being used, except for the 2 in storage. But the Flyer is one of the ones I have in storage, and I usually use that in the summer. Like, I'll go and play in the park and stuff. So I'll probably just I'm trying to control myself and just keep the Flyer, but part of me wants to get that Pancake and sell the Flyer and just use the Pancake as my travel kit, because I like the way it sounds better, and I like the fact that it's a single bag, like I said. But the Pancake, or the Flyer, isn't bad. I mean, the Flyer sounds pretty cool too. And I'm going to try to tweak it a little bit to try to stop myself from buying the other one. What I've done is I already had some Evans hydraulics heads that were on this, and a few of them fit that one, so I ended up just having to buy a single hydraulic 8-inch for the tom. So I'm going to replace the heads on it with hydraulics, because when you put really, really thick heads on tiny drums, it gives them a little bit more of a bottom end, and makes them, because the key to that thing, the Flyer, is to keep it very loose. Like, you cannot tighten it at all, or it just sounds like a toy drum set. But if you keep it very loose, it sounds pretty good. Like, if you watch the one that the video that Tama produced about it, and there's like this jazz group playing with it, and it sounds great in their video, because they have it all mic'd up and it's all loose. Like, nothing is tuned tight, and it's a tiny, tiny snare drum, and everything's tiny, so you have to have it very loose. But Evans hydraulics, since they're so thick, you don't have to tighten. They'll stay on there, and the lugs won't like flop around and stuff if they're very loose, because they're just kind of a loose head anyways, because they're so thick. So, yeah, anyway. Let me read some of these comments. Ved asks, are you a full-time musician? Yep. Instructor as well as musician. So all music-related stuff. YouTube, I made a video about that. Like, what is a professional musician? It's not really the same as it was, but it's actually, in my opinion, it's a little bit better. You can have a job like this, like what I do, and it's not like I make a ton of money, but I survive, and I make enough to live. So that's, good. But you have to be crafty. You have to have multiple ways, multiple sources, multiple streams of income, that you can't just rely on one thing. Like, there's no way you're going to make a living playing shows, like live shows, or being a studio drummer. Like, people say that it's like ridiculous in this day and age. First off, not even pop, like huge pop artists really use drummers in the studio. Most of that shit is on, it's all programmed. And then they'll use a live drummer sometimes, when they play out, but not all of them. So to make a living as an actual, like a drummer that just plays shows and plays with people is not a good way to go about it, in my opinion, because you're going to struggle. It's going to be really, really difficult, and you're probably not going to make enough money to live. I've talked to guys, when I used to do the podcast, I talked to a guy who played with like really big names. He played with, what's that guy? Some pop musician, I can't remember his name right now. But he also played with Miley Cyrus's sister, Noah Cyrus, and the bigger artist, Charlie Puth, I think it's Puth. He played with him too. And even that guy struggled, like he played with some big, big names, and he was struggling. So that can't be your only source, because like what I do is I teach, I do YouTube. YouTube is the great thing about YouTube is like it accumulates money over time. It takes a long time to get it there though, like a really long time. But it's not like this thing where you like, people always ask, oh, how much do you make per video? It doesn't work that way. The more videos you have and the longer you do it and the more watch time you get, the more it'll accumulate, over time. And then that combined with like affiliate links and sponsors and music licensing, a little tiny bit from streaming, Bandcamp, it's about, I would say, mine is like kind of split in half between, I would say half of it comes from teaching, and then the other half comes from all the other crap combined. So teaching actually is pretty good. So if you can teach, if you can find a lot of students and teach, you can make pretty decent money from teaching. So but if I were just teaching, I would be struggling even more. So you kind of have to, like I said, you have to combine a lot of stuff. That's really the only way to do it. You can't just do one thing. You have to be open to doing multiple things. Like I have musician friends that, they just don't want to do stuff. They don't want to do gear reviews, or they don't want to do, lessons or things like that. They still want to just, go out there, play shows, go on tour, make it big. But I'm sorry to say, nobody makes it big anymore. That doesn't happen. Like the only people that make it big are like singers, and they don't even make it as big as they used to make it. So yeah, keep that all in mind. You can do it, but you have to work and you have to be creative about what you do. And like stuff like this, these streams, even though, there's not like a ton of people watching this stream, but again, this kind of helps, just bring, people become aware. Some people find this stream, and they watch what I do and they listen a little bit more, and it just grows and grows and grows. It builds so slowly, so very slowly. Some people build much faster, but the way I've done it has been a very long, slow, gradual build. And I did work, I worked jobs all the way up until, like other jobs, all the way up until 2018. So, yeah, all of that. I know it was a long rant. Let's see, what can we play? Let's do another song. I'm getting kind of hungry, though. I'm going to have to stop pretty soon. It hasn't been as long as it usually is, but I feel like it has. All right, let's do Ice Cream Pirate. That one's fun. Let me switch kits. Which one should I use? The one that I originally used, like when I recorded, I don't really like it in there now, so I'm going to try something different. There we go. Okay, so this one's called Ice Cream Pirate, and it's off of Can You Draw Me? test. Okay, that was Ice Cream Pirate off of Can You Draw Me? Thanks for the tip there. That was anonymous. Anonymous tipped $10. Thank you so much. Let's give you some hearts for that one. Plus some vampire lips. Thank you. X-Files theme too. You deserve it. Some of these comments here. Let's see what we have. Hey, Demonic Sweaters, I have an E hi-hat question. Does your hi-hat cymbal ever spin around on you? I have a lemon hi-hat and clutch on a hi-hat stand and it spins around me quite a bit. No, I don't have that issue, but maybe it's your post, your hi-hat post. Making sure I'm not bleeding again. Maybe it's the hi-hat, you know, this thing, the spinny thing. Make sure that's in there good and tight. And because I know that happens, you know, if you have this loose, not the clutch, but like the actual rod in the hi-hat stand, that can spin loose, and then that'll be really annoying. Because I think, you know, the lemon has like a locking mechanism on it, so it should be okay. The one thing with me, though, when I tried that lemon hi-hat is I could not stand how much it flopped around. It drove me crazy, all the flopping. Hey, Nate Pick, thank you so much for the contribution there. Let's give you some love on that one. X-Files theme again. Quick question, since I'm getting the TD6V, what's your recommended hi-hat setup? Well, you know, you could go, it just depends on what you want to put into it, like how much you want to spend. You know, VH-11 is supported on the TD6, which is what I use, but they're kind of pricey, and they're not like, you know, I think people make too big of a thing about, you know, like E hi-hats, like having it on a hi-hat stand. Honestly, it doesn't matter that much. Like once you play, like it still feels like a rubber hi-hat. You know, like it's not going to turn it into an actual hi-hat cymbal. So you could easily get, you know, just I ran this module before with just a Roland PD7 pad and a Roland FD7 hi-hat controller, and that worked fine too. Like, so, you know, the FD7s are super cheap. Those hi-hat controllers, you can find those for like under $100, and they work perfectly with this. You know, they work perfectly with all the old Roland modules, or even like some of the newer ones too. I don't think you could get a VH-12 or a VH-10 to work with the TD6. I think it's too old. I mean, maybe you could, but I don't know if it would work great. And the lemon hi-hat, like I said, it's way too floppy for me. The controller is fine, but the hi-hat itself, it's just way, way too floppy. It's like, when you're trying to play it, like, I couldn't do it. Like, it drove me insane. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. The controller's fine, though. And the GoE drum controller, I think, is okay. It's not very durable, but it's okay. I mean, it hasn't broke on me, but it looks crappy. So, yeah. I mean, FDs, if you want to go on the cheap, get an FD7 and whatever pad. If you want to go on the more expensive, then go for a VH-11, like a real Roland VH-11. I found this used on Craigslist. So that helped me out. You know, I got a good price on it. Bob asked if I ever use traditional grip. I used to all the time. I don't really, I mean, I can. But I just don't really like it. I don't really find a purpose for it, quite honestly. I don't find it to be beneficial. It looks cool, I guess. You know, like, and I used to do it when I played in more jazz type situations. I would play traditional. I mean, okay, so it does give you a nice light touch, you know, if you're looking for that, if you're trying to control your volume. So that is kind of nice. Sometimes I guess I'll do it still, like if I'm in a restaurant or something like that. But, you know, it's not really necessary. I wouldn't stress about it, even if you're playing jazz. It's still just fine with, you know, match grip. The thing that sucks about traditional grip is when you go to doing like this crash, you know, with your left hand, which can be weird, you know, because then you have to either like bend your arm this way or hit it like this. You know, But you don't have to, if you're playing lightly, then it doesn't really matter as much. But if you're trying to play hard, like Stuart Copeland style. Stuart Copeland actually didn't even really play traditional grip. He played Stuart Copeland grip. Like, he played like this with like just one finger over the stick, which isn't correct at all. And I don't know how he even did that without snapping that finger in half, because that dude played so hard. But the real traditional grip is with these two fingers up like that, and then the stick rested in the, this part of your thumb. Yeah, I mean, Bob Almighty worked for Buddy Rich. But, I mean, yeah, those guys back then, that's just how you learned the drums. Traditional, there's crazy stuff. At one point, I looked back on the screen, and, like, there was, like, such crazy violence going on back there. I had no idea this movie was this gory. Like, I'm sorry if it's bothered anybody. But what I was saying is traditional grip, the reason why that even exists is because back in the day, marching snares, when they would put a snare drum on a strap and it would dangle from their body, it'd be at an angle, so like when you're playing the drum, it makes much more sense to go like this than to go like this, because then you have to have that elbow way up there, so you can still keep your elbow down and have the angle, the right angle when you're playing the snare drum on a strap. And then that's why when you watch the old videos of like jazz drummers and stuff, they angle their snare like the opposite way that people do now. They angle it away from them. Or it's just totally flat, because, I mean, I keep mine flat, but yeah, that's why. I mean, it doesn't really offer any kind of, in my opinion, of course, there's going to be people that disagree. I mean, there's some great drummers that play traditional. You have Dave Weckl, amazing drummer, but it also kind of screws you up if you want to do like hi-hat patterns on the left hand. It's much the same control you have with match grip. If you're playing open-handed. So, yeah. Long-winded answer for a simple question. Scars of Dracula R-rated. Well, apparently it is. Hearts and X-Files for you guys. Again. Oh, here's the romantic part of the movie. I'm going to have to really watch this movie now. Let's see. Nate says, yeah, and he also is extremely fast with that weird grip. My finger would be so sore with just one finger over. Yeah, Stuart is I love Stuart Copeland, though, man. I just love him as a human. Like, I don't even care if he played drums. I love listening to that guy talk. Like, he is just so cool. He's so energetic and has such a positive attitude, and is so much fun to listen to, and it's just he's just an awesome dude. I just really, really like Stuart Copeland. One of my favorite people ever. Totally. I find that I do most of my crash strikes with my right hand, but I'm a novice. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning you will, but I really need to have this left hand, to be able to do that. Stuff like that. Not that I can't do it with my traditional, but it's just weird. It just doesn't feel good. But it does have a style, there's a look to it for sure. All right, I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to call it. I know it's kind of a short stream today, guys, but I'm kind of tired, and I'm really hungry. So I need to eat. Let's do Pathways. I haven't done that in a really long time. So let's do that one. That one's fun. Here we go. And I'll come back here and answer your questions after this song. So this is called Pathways, and this is off of 333. right, that was Pathways. And that one felt pretty good. Maybe I want to do another one. That always happens. I always say I'm going to stop, and then I play one, and I'm like, that was fun, and now I want to do more. Maybe I'll just have a drink of coffee. Still no second nosebleed, so I think I'm good to go. Open. There we go. This thermos works too well. It actually keeps the coffee so hot that like I can't even drink it until like halfway through the day. My student Braden bought me that for Christmas. Very nice of him. Well, his mom, but but he, well, you know, he probably picked it out or helped. He saw that I drank coffee all the time, so. Let's see. Bob Almighty says, opinion of Patrick Carney of the Black Keys. Nope, no opinion. Don't know. Haven't listened to enough. Nate says the one that gets me is Mike Mangini. His setup gives me a headache. I haven't really listened to him much either, honestly. There's a lot of these famous drummers that I just don't pay attention to, honestly. Like, because if they're not playing with somebody that I really like, then I just, I'm not going to listen to it. That's like one that people always ask me about is Danny Carey. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really have an opinion. I watched a video or two, and I was like, it's okay. I just don't really like Tool, so I don't really have an opinion on his drumming. Bob Almighty says, I like to keep it simple. Something Neil Peartish. Now, I do love Neil Peart. I said Peart, but I meant Peart. I do love Neil. Was a huge influence on me, especially the Moving Pictures album when I was a kid. Definitely, he was the guy. He was the man, one of the men. One of the mans. Bob Almighty, nice. And Super Gene, or what did I say? Sup Eugene. There we go. What's up from Dubai? Hey, man. Thanks for coming on the chat. Here, let's give you the X-Files theme for that. And some love. And if you're ready for it, let's do that again. Nope. What's up, Dubai? I've never been to Dubai. Seems like a interesting, kind of weird place. A city that kind of like developed overnight, kind of. Am I wrong? I don't know. It did develop very quickly, I think. In a part of the world where I'd probably be afraid to go. I don't know. Some people are afraid to come here, so I shouldn't talk to New York or the U.S. in general, which maybe they should be. All right, I'm going to do another one. Let's do something. What can we do? I don't know. Do I want to do that? I'm kind of tired. Let's do an easy one. What's easy? All right, we'll do one with vocals. I'm not going to sing, but it has pre-recorded vocals. Let's go ahead and do Rot. I've had some comments on this one. People like it. Daniel from DistroKid, one of the guys that works over at DistroKid, let me know how much you like this one. So that was nice. Let's go ahead and play it. Here we go. That was the song Rot off the album Earth Asylum. So, to answer your question or your comment there, Bertoon, whoa, this is, I think, the first song or the only song I've heard with vocals. Is that you? Yes, it is me. And actually, I have quite a few songs with vocals. If you want to check out that, like more of that kind of stuff, the whole album, Earth Asylum, has a lot of songs with vocals on it. And that one came out a couple years ago already, which is crazy. I can't believe that was already like 2 years ago, I think. I think 2020. Crazy. But yeah, I kind of break it up. You know, I do one thing for a while, then I switch it up to something else for a while, and I switch it up to something else for a while. But anyway, Bob Almighty says, great stream, thanks. Or, great stream, Justin. Thanks, Bob. Let me give you guys some love again. Some more X-Files theme. And... it's better here. Wow. Anyway, guys, I am going to call it for the day. It was an exciting stream. A lot of weird stuff happened, but we made it through it. I made it through with you guys' help. This was the vampire-themed stream, I guess, and it actually did have some real blood somehow, but I seem to be okay now, so that's good. No more bleeding. Let me see if I missed any comments here. Man, I have to go to the bathroom again really bad. I think I got them all. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, next week, I think I'm going to be dark next week, but the week after that, I will be back. Next week, I have to work on my taxes, so won't be here for that. Continuum Drums, would you like to play a Minnesota song? I would love to, but I'm going to save it. We'll save it for the next stream. I do have to get off of here and get some other things done for the day. But I really appreciate you guys watching and hanging out, and it really means a lot. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell icon. Check out anthillrecordings.bandcamp.com if you want to purchase any of this music. You can also go there and get CDs like this one. Where's the camera? Like this one. Or vinyl like this one. Or you can just stream me on all the streaming services, Demonic Sweaters or Minnesota. Either one of those, you'll find me. Different stuff that I do. So once again, thanks for watching, everybody. And I will see you guys in a week. Or a little, 2 weeks, actually. All right, bye-bye.